Hi, my name's Jodie and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be doing my pre-orders for 2021 video. So I have pre-ordered a lot of books for this year. When I say a lot, I'm not exaggerating. There's about 30 books on this list, maybe more, and this isn't every single book because I kind of got a bit too lazy to be going through all my orders on Waterstones and other websites and trying to figure out. So these are all the ones that I do have saved in my notes on my phone that I know I've pre-ordered, and then I have a couple that I haven't yet pre-ordered but definitely I'm looking forward to this year. So yes, if you would like to see all of the books for 2021 that I have pre-ordered and you're looking maybe for some new books that are coming out this year and you're not sure, or you're looking for something new, then keep watching this video and let's just get straight into it. Don't forget to get yourself a cup of tea or something because it's going to be a very long video. I have a lot of books to talk about and we need to stay hydrated. Okay, so I have tried to organise these books month by month so that it's a lot easier for me to talk about them. I really hope I haven't forgotten any important ones, but the likelihood is I've probably forgotten a few books on here. But yes, we're just going to go through the... Yes, we are just going to go through the list that I have on my phone and let's hope that we cover most of the books. So obviously we're going to start with January. So let's see what's first on the list. So some of these books have already come out and yeah, they're already out, but I'm going to talk about them anyways because I feel like they deserve to be talked about. I have pre-ordered some of these. A lot of them I pre-ordered with Waterstones. However, because a lot of them are US published, they take so long to come over to UK. Sometimes the dates of publication could be slightly different or that they're just delayed. So for example, there's probably about 3 books on here that I know have already come out, especially in the US, and I pre-ordered and the pre-order date has already been and gone and I still haven't received the book. But it's just paired with COVID, US imports, Brexit and everything else. Everything's kind of delayed, so I don't have the physical copies for all of these books. But anyway, yeah. So the first book is actually one that I actually do now have physically, and this came out on the 7th of January, and this is The Witchling Sky, and this is by Helena Cogan. And I'm obsessed with this cover. Look how beautiful this cover is, like it's absolutely stunning. And this is described as being a very dark and atmospheric book, quite tense, and I just love the sound of this book in particular. The beginning of the synopsis was what sold me on this book, and it says, in a quiet street far from the river with an ancient tree growing through its walls and floors is the house of the dead. There lives the Witchling, healer, midwife and conduit between the world of the living and the world below. A Witchling must give up her family and her friends and spend her life alone, tending to the sick and carrying the dead down dark tunnels to the underworld. And in this we follow Hayley, who was born with the gift of what's called death magic, and at the age of 7 years old she is abandoned by her mother to the Witchling to learn how to control this death magic and become the next Witchling. And it says, she finds it harder and harder to keep her vows and be the perfect and impassive healer, but if she can't, it will be her downfall and that of everyone she's not supposed to love. And I just think this sounds absolutely amazing. I'm so intrigued. It does sound very dark. It sounds like there might be a little bit of romance in there, some good character development, and it just sounds like it will be a really good tense kind of story, and I'm just so here for it. This is my kind of thing. I love anything that's quite eerie, and this just sounds quite unique as well. So yes, I am very excited to read this one in 2021, and I just love this cover so much. So the next book also came out on the 7th of January, and that is The Forest of Moon and Sword by Amy Raphael. You're all probably sick to death of me talking about this book. I've spoken about this in so many videos now. I read an early copy of this, I adored it and gave it 5 stars. This is an incredible middle grade, and I'd recommend this to literally anyone, whether it be for the age group it's intended for or adult. I highly recommend picking up this book. It is absolutely amazing. We have a main character who goes on a journey of self-discovery, of love, relationships, family. We've got magical realism in here. We've got the witch trials in here. It's honestly just amazing. I'm not even going to go into the synopsis because I've spoken about this so many times, and if you haven't picked up by now, then I don't know what you're doing. But yes, I absolutely adore this. I have this beautiful finished copy as well that Amy kindly sent me, and she signed it and wrote this lovely note inside, which is really nice. This was one of my most anticipated releases of the year because I just absolutely adore this book so much. So next up we have A Chlorine Sky by Mahogany L. Brown, and this is a book that's actually written in verse, and I'm so excited for this. This again is one I have already pre-ordered, but it just hasn't shipped out to me yet. I'm assuming there are delays, and I just can't wait to get my hands on this. I really wish it would hurry up, and the reason I'm really excited for this is that I finally got around to reading some of Elizabeth Acevedo's work last year, year I read The Poet X. It was one of my favourite books of 2020, and it was my first book that I'd actually ever read that was written in verse, and I absolutely adored it. I really enjoyed that kind of format, and I'm very, very excited for this book in particular. Like, for one, a look at the cover, it is just absolutely stunning and beautiful, like, yes. But this is a coming of age story about a young girl, and it says that this is a book about broken promises, fast rumours, and when growing up means growing apart from your best friend. This is perfect for readers of Elizabeth Acevedo and Nikki Grimes, so I just love how this is pitched. I have seen so many good reviews for this book, and again, I really want to read a lot more books written in verse, and this was the first one that popped up, and I'm honestly so excited to read this. So another book that was due on the 12th of January is Into the Heartless Wood, and this is by Joanna Ruth Meyer, and this is one that is very, very witchy, so naturally I really want to read it. Haven't received this one just yet either, but yes, I can wait. So in this book we have a forest that kind of attracts people and lures people in with siren song. And in this forest we have a witch who's lived there for centuries, harvesting souls who are lured in by this siren song, and she uses these souls to feed the Heartless tree to carry on growing her domain and carry on with her way of life. So this witch has a lot of siren daughters, and she has a daughter named Seren, and one day Seren saves this guy called Owen who's lured into the forest nearby his house, and she decides to save him rather than hand him over to a mother who is the witch to be harvested to help the tree. And as a result of this, every single night Owen sneaks over the garden wall and he meets up with Seren, and Seren is longing to be a human as well. Her and her relationship with Owen is kind of deepening and becoming something more. And this says, Seren's quest to become human will lead them into an ancient war raging between the witch and the king who is trying to stop her. Epic, heartbreaking and darkly atmospheric, Into the Heartless Wood is the story of impossible love between a monstrous tree siren and a boy who lives at the edge of a wood. I just love the sound of this. For me, this sounds very much like the Shea Enshaw book that I read called The Winterwood. It's kind of got that vibe to me, kind of dark, eerie, and I just love the sound of this book, and I'm so excited. I love anything witchy, and of course this is just straight up my street, basically my cup of tea. Cannot wait to read this book. So next up we have one I'm so excited for. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year. This is a new fantasy series, so this is going to be the first book, and it is a middle grade series. There's been so much talk about this, so much positivity. I'm so excited. Like, this is pitched as being the next big thing for middle grade, and yeah, I can't wait for it. So the book I'm talking about is Amari and the Night Brothers, and this is by B.B. Alston, and this comes out on the 19th of January. And Gavin here on BookTube left this review on Goodreads, and this just sums up really well and makes me so excited. It says, a truly imaginative and explosive start to what promises to be an exciting new middle grade series to watch out for. Plot driven, action packed, character focused, and absolutely brilliant. I'm just so excited for this. I can't wait to read it. The cover for this book is also absolutely stunning, and yeah, I just can't wait to get my hands on this. Again, another one I pre-ordered, and I'm really hoping it gets dispatched for me soon because I cannot wait for this book. So next up we have Cast in Firelight by Dana Smith. This one also came out on the 19th of January, and in this one we follow another witch who is a royal heir, and she is about to take her royal ceremony test. And then we have another royal heir as well, who is a competitive wizard who's literally mastered everything for this test, and him and Adra, the other royal heir, are kind of forced into this arranged marriage. And it says, but after years of rivalry from afar, Adra and Jatin only agree on one thing: their reunion will be anything but sweet. Perfect for fans of Sabaa Tahir and Renee Ahdieh, and I love Renee Ahdieh. I love The Beautiful, so good. I'm just so excited for this. This is basically a really good enemies to lovers by the sounds of it, with a really complex plot, and I'm just so excited for it, and I adore this cover as well. The covers for books this year are just so good. Like, I'm so here for it. So next up we have one called A Case for Grave Danger, and this is by Sophie Cleverly, and this one isn't actually out until the 21st officially, but I do have the finished copy here. This is a new middle grade, and I believe this is the first book in the series. It's got a kind of magical realism, fantasy-esque kind of mystery vibe to it, and I just think it sounds so fun. I'm really excited for it. The cover is absolutely beautiful, and the main character, Violet Vale, in this book can somehow see dead people, and she meets this boy Oliver in the graveyard who's actually dead, and she and her dog Bones then embark on this journey with Oliver to try and solve out who murdered him, basically. And I just think this sounds so fun. It's going to be a really good middle grade, I think, and yeah, it just sounds really creepy, and yeah, I'm here for it. Next up we have the Sad Ghost Club, and this one is actually a graphic novel. I'm so excited for this. This comes out on the 21st of January, and I have a nice signed copy on its way to me, and I'm very excited. You all know I love my graphic novels. This is a really good one for anyone who's ever felt very lonely, overwhelmed by anxiety and those sorts of things. So it has some really good elements to do with mental health, and I'm very excited for that in particular. It says, this is the story of one of those days, a day so bad you can barely get out of bed, when it's a struggle to leave the house, and when you do you wish you hadn't. But even the worst of days can surprise you. When one sad ghost, lost and alone at a crowded party, spies another sad ghost across the room, they decide to leave together. What happens next changes everything, because that night they start the Sad Ghost Club, a secret society for the anxious and alone, a club for people who think they don't belong. For fans of Heartstopper and Jennifer Niven, and for anyone who's ever felt invisible, you are not alone. Shh, pass it on. I just think this sounds amazing, and when I heard it's perfect for fans of Heartstopper, of course I had to pre-order it. And like I said, I really love the themes of mental health in here, so I'm very excited to read this, especially with it being a graphic novel, and I think this is going to become probably one of my favourite reads. I can just tell already. The reviews are really good for this, and I'm so excited, and I love the fact there's like little ghosts in it as well, like just so cute. So next up we have a book that is the third book in a series. I've only actually read the first book in this series, but I've pre-ordered the exclusive Firelight edition of this book because I want it to match my first one and so on. I really do need to read the rest of this series and the second book. I just haven't gotten to it because I've heard so many mixed things about the second one, but I'm still pretty excited for this and to receive the nice pretty Firelight edition of this book. But the book I'm talking about is A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer. Is it Kemmerer? Kemmerer, I think is how you say her name. So this gets released on the 26th of January, and like I said, it's the third book in a series, so I'm not going to go into what this is about, but this series is obviously based around Beauty and the Beast. It's kind of like another YA retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and the first book was really good. So yes, I'm very excited to receive the exclusive edition, and yeah. So now we have all of February's pre-orders, and firstly we have What Big Teeth by Rose Savo, and I'm so excited for this book. This cover, I'm obsessed with it. Like, just look at it. It is absolutely stunning. It is my kind of vibe. This has been pitched as being like a horror, thriller, murder mystery-esque kind of book, and it just sounds so good. This has got vibes of Miss Peregrine's Children, whatever that book's called. I can't remember what it's called, I've never read it, but basically that crossed with the Addams Family, and as soon as I heard Addams Family I was like, yes please, sign me up, I need this book in my life. It's a haunting story of one girl's attempt to reconnect with her monstrous family. So this is like a really dark book, and I just can't wait for it, and I just think it's going to be really good, and I just love the cover. Like, I'm obsessed with the cover. This book comes out on the 2nd of February. Then next up, sharing the same release date, is Red, White and Whole. This is by Rajani LaRocca, and I'm so excited for this, and I think the cover is absolutely beautiful for this book. And this is another book that is also written in verse, which is again another main reason I'm so excited for it. I'm just loving how many books are coming out in verse this year. It is so good, and it is so nice to see. And this follows an Indian American girl whose life is totally crushed when she finds out that her mum has leukemia. And in this book we follow Raya. So obviously Raya's dealing with this heartbreaking news. She's trying to balance school and her friends, and also trying to balance being the only Indian American at this school and with her family traditions as well. And Raya and her mum don't have the best relationship. They're kind of disconnected from one another, but then obviously when she finds out her mother has leukemia, this then kind of reignites their mother-daughter relationship. And this says, Raya, who dreams of becoming a doctor even though she can't stomach the sight of blood, is determined to make Amari well again. She'll be the perfect daughter if it means saving her life. And I just think this sounds absolutely amazing. Excited for this book for a number of reasons. I just think this is going to be a really powerful story, and the fact that it's set in verse, and yeah, I love the sound of this. I think it's just going to be a really powerful and quite sad read, but I'm still very excited for it nonetheless. So another one sharing the same release date is Dearest Josephine, and this is by Caroline George, and it says, this book sweeps readers into two different time periods with an unexpected love story that promises to reimagine what it means to be present with the people we love. So this is set in both 2020 and the 1820s, and I'm just so excited for this book. It sounds very unique and interesting, and it sounds like it's going to have some really fun themes in here. And this cover again is another one that's absolutely beautiful, and I'm just living for all these gorgeous covers this year, and I just can't wait to read this one. So next up is another graphic novel. Very excited for this one. Again, another another one out on the 2nd of February, and this is called Brightly Woven, and this is by Alexandra Bracken, Lee Dragoon and Kit Seaton, and I just think this sounds really, really fun. I love the sound of this one, and this is kind of pitched as a graphic novel of discovering your own power, and this is kind of like a fantasy-esque story, and I just can't wait for it. I'm really intrigued to see what the illustrations are like based off the cover, so I can't wait for this one. I'm pretty sure this is YA, but I might be wrong, but I'm still excited for it. So next up we have a middle grade, and this one is due out on the 4th of February, and this is the 3rd book in a series, and this is actually from a middle grade series. I received the 1st and 2nd book for Christmas, and I've heard amazing things about this series. It's the Pinch of Magic series, and the book I'm talking about is A Tangle of Spells by Michelle Harrison. And yeah, I don't know a lot about this book because it's the 3rd book in a series, but of course I pre-ordered it because I own the first 2, and I do plan to read them fairly soon. I've heard amazing things about this series, and this is probably one of the most well-loved middle grade series right now, and I hear a lot of people both on booktube and in the book community in general talk about these books and sing their praise, so yes, I definitely want to read all 3. So next up we have a Pho Love Story by Luan Lee, and this is due out on the 9th of February, and I'm so excited for this book. This is a nice romance contemporary, which is what I need in my life, and this is pitched as a funny, smart, romantic comedy-esque book, and it follows 2 Vietnamese teens who fall in love with each other and must navigate their newfound romance and their family's years-long kind of rivalry. And there's a lot of complicated histories. I think each of the teens both work in a family restaurant that are competitors with each other, and I just think this sounds so fun. The rivalry, the romance, everything about this, I'm so excited for this book. So obviously this is my most anticipated book of the entire year, and I can't wait. I literally just, I can't. I'm not even gonna have words for this. This comes out on the 16th of February, and it's by my favourite author, which I'm sure you all can guess now, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. This book is making me emotional just thinking about it. All I've got to say for this is Nessian. I'm so excited for this book. So this is another installment in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J Maas, which is amazing, but this is focused on 2 side characters from the first 3 books. So we have Nessian, who is Feyre's sister, who is the main character, and then we have Cassian. There's like a romance between them 2 and some other stuff going on, and I don't want to say too much, but if you haven't read the ACOTAR series, just go and do it. Even if you don't like the first book, I promise you it is worth it to get to ACOMAF, the 2nd book. That is just the biggest plot twist. Amazing, stunning, best book in the entire world. Just read it, and then yes, like, I'm so excited for this book. I just can't put it into words. But yes, my most anticipated release, I cannot wait. I think I have 3 editions pre-ordered. But yeah, I'm so excited for this because I want some Nessian in my life. It's what we all want. And then if Sarah J Maas could kindly write the whole ACOTAR series from Reason's point of view afterwards, I wouldn't say no to that. I would really appreciate it if she could do that. But I'm still really excited for this book. I can't wait. Most anticipated release. Go and pre-order it. Go and read the series. Go and reread the series. You won't regret it. That's all I'm going to say on it. So next up we have Killjoy by Holly Black. So for those of you who don't know, Holly Black is obviously the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I have not read, but I definitely do plan to pick up very soon. And this isn't actually a full novel by her. This is just a very short story that comes out for World Book Day, and I did pre-order it. It's only £1, and I just think it'll be a nice fun short read. And I don't actually know a lot about this. I think it's just kind of like a side novel maybe to the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series or something, but it's basically just a short story. I just think it'll be fun to kind of pick up in between reads and kind of get a sense of Holly Jackson's writing, because like I said, I've never read any of her stuff before. So next up we have Like Home by Louisa Onome, and this is due out on the 23rd of February, and I'm very, very excited for this one as well. This has been pitched as perfect for fans of Elizabeth Acevedo, which, like I said before, I loved Poet X when I read it last year, and I'm very, very excited to read this book. And this also says it's perfect for fans of On My Block, which is a show from Netflix. I presume I've never actually watched that before. It says this is about a girl whose life is turned upside down after one local act of vandalism throws her relationships and even her neighbourhood into turmoil. And this follows Nilo, and it says her entire world is morphing into something she hates, and she must figure out how to get things back on track or risk losing everything and everyone she loves. And yeah, I've not really heard a lot of talk about this book. I just pre-ordered it simply because I'd heard about it being very good for fans of Elizabeth Acevedo, and like I said, I really loved her writing. stunning, and the story just sounds amazing for this one. And yeah, so next up we have Some Other Now by Sarah Everett, and this is due out on the 23rd of February also. It says this is a heartbreaking contemporary novel which follows a girl who's caught between two brothers as the three of them navigate family loss and love over the course of 2 summers. And in one of the reviews on Goodreads it says, Some Other Now was an absolute emotional roller coaster and I was happy to be along for the ride. You'll get all the feels from this captivating read about family both found and lost, and I just think this sounds so fun. I feel like it's going to be a really good contemporary novel, but it's quite deep and kind of upsetting, but also will have like a good ending, I hope. I don't know, I just haven't heard much about this, but I thought it sounded really interesting and I'm very excited to get to it. Then we have Teen Titans Beast Boy Loves Raven. I'm so excited for this. This is a DC Inc graphic novel and this also comes out on the 23rd of February. I recently read Beast Boy and I plan to read Raven very soon. I loved Beast Boy, it was so fun, but yeah, obviously this is about them two kind of developing a romance and being Teen Titans, and I'm just so excited for it. I can't wait. The art looks amazing, everything about this looks amazing, and I need it in my life like now. So now we have all of the books I've pre-ordered for March. So next up we have Red Tigress by Amelie Wen Zahao, and this is one that is actually a sequel. So this is a sequel to Blood Air, which I still haven't read but definitely do plan to in 2021. I pre-ordered this because I wanted to snag an Illumicrate edition, which is beautiful, because I missed out on Blood Air last year and I really regret it. So there was no way I was missing out on the sequel with those beautiful blood dripped sprayed edges, like stunning. So yeah, I don't know much about this except for it's a sequel, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and it comes out on the 2nd of March. So next up is a book that's out on the 2nd of March, and this is The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley, and the cover for this is just absolutely stunning. Again, so unique. I love it. Like, I love this so much. But this is described as a groundbreaking YA thriller about a native teen who must root out the corruption in her community. For readers of Angie Thomas and Tommy Orange, I just think this sounds absolutely incredible. And it's been described to be one of the most powerful and important books you'll ever read, and I'm so excited for it. This just sounds amazing. It sounds like it's going to cover some really important themes, and I also love the cover, I love the premise, I'm very intrigued, and I can't wait to pick this one up. And of course also on the 2nd of March we have The House of Earth and Blood paperback. I had to mention it. I've got 2 editions pre-ordered because apparently 6 different copies of this book was not enough, but I love my girl Sarah J Maas, as you all know. So I have the Waterstones exclusive edition pre-ordered and the standard paperback. I'm also thinking I'll probably do a giveaway of this as well near the time, so definitely look out for that if I haven't forgotten when it comes to the time. But I'm so excited to have the paperback. It looks beautiful, and yeah, I just need it. I need it for my shelf, okay? Then on the 2nd of March we also have Chain of Iron by Sandra Clare, which is the second book to, I can't remember what it's called, Chain of Gold, I believe. I haven't read Chain of Gold. I still need to make my way through a lot of Cassandra Clare's books, which I still haven't done, but of course I have this pre-ordered because it's stunning. And yeah, like I like collecting books, and I am eventually going to read this series, so yes, I pre-ordered it. Then I have pre-ordered a new manga, the series that's coming out, which looks amazing. I just ordered this simply for the art style. I don't know a lot about it at all, but this is called The King's Beast, and this comes out on the 4th of March, and yeah, I'm just very excited for this series. Haven't really heard anything about it, but I'm very intrigued. For one, I'm obsessed with the cover. I think it looks stunning. It says it's a smouldering tale of romance and revenge. That sold me straight away. I don't need to know anything else, okay? I'm sold by the art and by that first line. So yes, very excited for this manga series, and I really haven't heard much about it. So if you are familiar with this, this might actually be linked to another series or book by this author. I'm not entirely sure, but either way I'm still very excited for this series. If you've read this, let me know in the comments, or if you've heard about it. Obviously you haven't read it. I mean, if you've read anything that's maybe linked to this or something, let me know, or if you've heard of it, just let me know. But yeah, I'm very intrigued by the cover and just by the premise, and it sounds amazing. So next up we have The Dating Plan, and this is by Sarah Desai or Desai. I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, so I really do apologise. But this cover, again, another beautiful cover, but this is like a fake fiancés trope storyline, and I'm so excited for it. It's pitched as being a romantic comedy, and yeah, this is just another one of those tropey romance books that we all love, and I'm so excited for this. I just think it sounds absolutely amazing, and I really do need to get stuck into more romance books or romance contemporary books, so this one is a must for me this year, and this one comes out on the 16th of March. Then next up, speaking of nice romance contemporary-esque books, we have Hot British Boyfriend. I love this cover also, and this is by Christy Boyce, and this is obviously set in England, and we have Elliot who falls for a Brit, and they have this nice little romance, and that's pretty much all I know. So excited for this just because I like the fact that it's like a British kind of one and that it's a good contemporary romance. I think this might be YA, but I could be wrong, but either way I'm very, very excited to read this, and I think this is going to be a really, really good one because all the reviews I've seen for this book have been extremely positive and everyone's saying how much they loved it. So I'm very, very excited to get my hands on this one. And this comes out on the 18th of March. Another one with another stunning cover. Like, I'm just living for these covers this year. But this book is called All Our Hidden Gifts, and this is by Caroline O'Donoghue, and this comes out on the 30th of March, and this has got a good theme to do with tarot cards, which I think is so interesting. Like, I love that kind of vibe already. And then we have this kind of like argument, and one of the friends wishes another girl would disappear, and then she doesn't turn up to school the next day, and it all goes from there. The plot's weird. It's mysterious, it's eerie. Set in an Irish town where the church's tight hold has loosened and new freedoms are trying to take root, this sharply contemporary story is witty, gripping, and tinged with mysticism. Love the sound of that. I'm so excited for this, and I love the cover. So next up we have Mina and the Undead, which comes out on the 1st of April, and this is by Amy McCourt, and I'm so excited for this book. I luckily received a proof copy of this book literally like a couple of days ago. Long story, the author has been trying to get me a proof for so long. One got sent out, it got lost in the mail, and then COVID and everything else. It's been really difficult to get this to me. I'm so thankful to Amy for sorting it out and getting me one, because this is one of my most anticipated releases for this year. I am so excited for this book. I haven't started it yet because I've only just got it. I am planning to start this ASAP. Like, I'm really, really excited. This is a YA, like, gothic kind of book, and I'm so here for it. Look how stunning this proof is for one, like, amazing. And this is set in 1995 in New Orleans, and we follow Mina in here, and Mina is from England and she's in New Orleans to kind of meet up with her estranged sister. And I also love the fact that Mina is from a town called Whitby, which is here in the UK, which inspired Dracula, the story, which is just amazing. Like, I love that little element. So fun. Mina is really excited to explore like all the dark parts of the city and like all the creepy bits, because she loves her horror movies and things like that. And then she lands a job in this horror movie mansion, and she meets a guy called Jared, and he is also a fellow horror movie enthusiast. And then one day Mina stumbles upon a girl in this mansion who has puncture marks in her neck and is dead, and she is clutching a fistful of hair, and it resembles Mina's sister Libby's hair as well, so plot twist. And then the synopsis says someone in New Orleans is replicating New Orleans' most brutal supernatural killing, and Mina must prove her sister's innocence, find out the truth, and save herself and anyone else from becoming another victim of this myth. So this just sounds amazing. We've got like a vampire-esque kind of thing going on, a bit of murder mystery, a little bit of romance, a bit of gothic horror, everything that's good, and I'm just so excited for this book. Like, I honestly can't even with this book. Like, yeah, I already know I'm gonna love this, but I'm so excited. If you're someone who likes horror or vampire kind of books, or maybe like murder mystery, then this is definitely worth pre-ordering, because it really does sound amazing. And yes, I do plan to read it, so I will definitely be sharing my thoughts with you guys soon, so do look up for that if you are interested in this. But yes, very, 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 very excited for this one. Then next we have another murder mystery style book. So this is Pride and Premeditation, and this is by Tazar Price, and this one is obviously inspired by like Jane Austen, which is a vibe. So this book is pitched to be perfect for fans of Stalking Jack the Ripper. I absolutely love Stalking Jack the Ripper, so yes, very, very excited about that. And this is actually the first book in a murder mystery Jane Austen series, which is inspired by Pride and Prejudice. Reimagines the iconic setting, characters, and romance in a thrilling and high-stake whodunit. So yes, I really love the sound of this. Murder mystery, Pride and Prejudice, yes please. Yes, I'm very, very excited to read this, especially considering I am reading Pride and Prejudice at the moment. I'm planning to finish it very, very soon, so I'm here for any like retellings, which are just, yes, very, very excited. And this book does come out on the 6th of April. Next we have The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni, and this is going to be the first book in a series, and I don't know too much about this, but from what I remember I was really intrigued. I was like, I'm going to pre-order that and give it a go and see what it's like. It sounded really interesting, but this has been pitched as a dark, thrilling YA fantasy that's perfect for fans of Sarah J Maas and Sabaa Tahir. So obviously as soon as I heard perfect for fans of Sarah J Maas, you know I was going to buy that and eat that up. I'm so excited for this book. I think this is going to be a really good series. Like I said, I don't know too much about it. We've got a rebel queen involved in here as well, and the healer, who's the main character, trying to look after her. There's some kind of incurable plague. We've got another inmate fighting for her heart, and a prison rebellion brewing. So yeah, there's a lot of different things going on in this book. It just sounds really fun, really interesting, and like I said, as soon as I heard the Sarah J Maas thing, I was like, yes, I need to pre-order this. So I did, and this book comes out on the 13th of April. Next up we have The Forest of Stolen Girls by June Hur. I've never read anything by this author before, and I'm very excited. The cover for this is absolutely beautiful. I love the simplicity of it. I love the black and white with the colour. I just think this is absolutely stunning. So it says, after her father vanishes while investigating the disappearance of 13 young women, a team returns to her secretive hometown to pick up the trail in the second YA historical mystery from the author of The Silence of Bones. Now, I haven't read Silence of Bones. I don't know if you need to read this book, or this is just another YA book, but either way, I'm very excited for this. I love the sound of this. It sounds so creepy and almost like a serial killer-esque kind of story, but for YA, which is just, yeah, I'm here for that, and I'm very excited. It's set in 1490s Korea, and one of the reviews says here that it's a fascinating look at being an independent woman detective in a time when women had no status. So I think this is going to be a really fun and interesting read. Very excited for it and obsessed with the cover. And this one comes out on the 20th of April. So next up we have another verse novel, and this is There Who Talks Weird, and this has such a cool unique cover. Like, just look at this art style. Like, yes, really cool. So I don't know a ton about this. I just know it's quite an interesting one, and I know that it's written in verse. So this thought-provoking moving verse novel will lead adult and young adult readers alike to vital discussions on important topics like dealing with depression and how to recognize this in yourself and others through the accessible voice of a 13-year-old girl. So I just think this is going to be a really important read. I think it's going to be really powerful and touch on some really important themes as well, and I'm just very excited. It sounds really interesting the way the plot is laid out as well, and like she's dealing with a lot of different issues, and the fact that it's going to be from a 13-year-old's perspective where everything in your life is kind of changing. You know, you're usually at the age of going to high school and all these different things that, you know, you experience as a 13-year-old child. Life can be really challenging, and dealing with mental health at that age as well can be even more challenging, obviously. So I'm very intrigued by this book. I'm very excited, and I just think the cover as well is just amazing and really unique. So yeah. Oh, and this comes out on 22nd of April, and this is by Alessandra Naraves Varela. I can't pronounce it very well, and I do apologise. You will know my pronunciation's terrible, but yes, I'm very excited to give this a read, and I just can't wait to have it in my hands. So next we have one I was looking up to see the proof of, and again, it's another one on my list I need to get read like ASAP, but this proof is so stunning, and this is Ariadne, and this is by Jennifer Saint. So just look how beautiful this proof is, and it's so floppy. Oh, I love it. I'm very excited for this one. This is a Greek mythology inspired story. The story would not be one of death and suffering and sacrifice. I would take my place in the songs that would be sung about Theseus, the princess who saved him and ended the monstrosity that blighted Crete. So this is basically a retelling of Theseus and the Minotaur, which I absolutely love this myth. I think it's so interesting and such a fun story, and I'm really excited to see how the character Ariadne is explored as well, because when I think it was Circe I read, Ariadne was in that, and it might have been in another Stephen Fry book, I can't remember, but I was reading like a Greek mythology inspired tale, and Ariadne's character was in there, and I just thought she was a really interesting character. So I'm really excited to see what this author does with the myth and this character, and explores the different things that kind of link to that myth. And I don't know, I think this is going to be really fun. But this is marked as perfect for fans of Circe, Song of Achilles and Silence of the Girls. So I've read all of those but Silence of the Girls, which I still need to read. But I loved those books so much, so naturally I really want to read this one. Ariadne gives a voice to the forgotten women of one of the most famous Greek myths, and speaks to their strength in the face of angry, petulant gods. Beautifully written and completely immersive, this is an exceptional debut novel. So I'm very excited for this. I love my Greek mythology and my Greek retellings, so yeah, I really need to read this proof soon, like very soon, because this does come out in April. It comes out on the 29th of April, so I still have plenty of time to read it, but I really do want to get to it sooner rather than later. You will definitely be hearing my thoughts soon on this, but yes, I think this is just stunning as well. And the actual final book, which I will show here, like look how beautiful this cover is. Like, I would cover buy this totally. So now we are on to all of the books that come out in May. So next up we have Where the Rhythm Takes You by Sarah Dash, and this is a book that's actually inspired by Jane Austen's Persuasion, and it's a mesmerizing romantic novel. It's kind of about first love, second chances, but I don't know a ton about this book. I was just really intrigued when it said it was like a retelling of Jane Austen and like a romance sort of book, and the cover alone is just wow. But I read through some of the reviews and all the reviews are very high for this book, and a lot of people were saying like they were so emotional and all these different things, and it just sounds really good, and I'm so excited to read it. I need a good romance, and I just love all these like Jane Austen retellings we're getting, and this just sounds like incredible and I'm so here for it. So next up we have another manga, and this is Call of Night Vol 1, and this is by Kotoyama, and I'm very excited for this. I don't know a ton about it, but the cover alone I was intrigued by, and this is basically a vampire manga and it just sounds really interesting. We've got a character who becomes a vampire and there's sexy vampires, and I'm just intrigued. I love my vampires, I like manga. That's why I pre-ordered it, and this comes out on the 13th of May. So another one that comes out on the 13th of May that I'm so excited about, like definitely one of my most anticipated releases, and you all know how much I adore this series, the characters, everything. I'm just so excited, and that is Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. I don't think I need to say anything about this. You all should have read this graphic novel series by now. This is probably one of my all-time favourite graphic novel series. It's absolutely beautiful, it's heartwarming, it makes me so unbelievably happy, and I cannot wait to get volume 4. I need more Nick and Charlie in my life. The novellas are not enough. So yeah, very excited for this. If you don't know, this follows two teenagers who are in high school. Well, this is where it starts off, and one of them kind of is aware of their sexuality, the other is not, and then they meet, develop a friendship that turns into more, and become romantically involved. There's a lot of important issues. We have a really lovely romance, and I just absolutely adore this series so much, and I'm so excited for volume 4. I don't know how I'm going to wait until May, but I'm definitely going to reread volumes 1, 2, 3 and 4 and the novellas before this comes out. I need it now. I wish like we were getting a volume every 2 months or something, because then I would be very happy and always have a nice book that would make me feel all like warm and fuzzy inside. So next up we have another kind of contemporary romance-esque book, and I love the cover for this one too, no surprise. This comes out on the 18th of May, and this is called Last Chance Books by Kelsey Rodkey, and this is basically an enemies to lovers, but they're rivals because they both work in 2 different bookstores. So we have 2 booksellers who are enemies and then become lovers, and there's bookshops involved. It's my ultimate romance story. I am so excited, like I can't even, yes, this is everything. This is everything, like yeah, I have no words. But yes, we just have basically kind of like enemies to lovers, a bit of like rom-com-y vibe and bookstore vibes, and yes, just yes please, give me it now and I will eat it. I will eat it up. I'm so excited. So next up we have Poison Ivy Thorns, and this is by Cody Keplinger and Sarah Kippen. Now I don't know actually if this is a graphic novel or a novel, I really don't know, but this is basically about the anti-hero Poison Ivy. That's literally all I know. It's the only reason I pre-ordered it is because it's Poison Ivy. I honestly don't know if it's a graphic novel or not. I know it has illustrations in it, so I'm assuming it's a graphic novel, but I might be totally wrong. I don't know if it's a DC Ink one or something. I have no idea. Either way, I pre-ordered it. I'm excited. I like anti-heroes. I like Poison Ivy. I'm intrigued. So next up we have Made in Korea, and this is by Sarah Suk, and this is one of my most anticipated releases. I'm so excited for this book. It just sounds amazing, and just give me it now. So this comes out on the 18th of May, and this is a feel-good romantic comedy. So this is kind of like enemies to lovers. It's a rom-com, and I'm just, yeah, I'm so excited for this. It just sounds amazing, and I've heard a lot of hype for it, and I want it now. I don't want to wait. I need it now, and I'm so excited to have this book in my hands and for it to bring me lots of happiness. So next up we have The IVIES by Alexa Dunn, and this comes out on the 25th of May, and this is a thriller, and this is about a group of teens all fighting to try and get in this Ivy League college, and they will literally do anything, like anything, to get there. Too bad no one told them murder wasn't an extracurricular. So yes, this is giving me the vibes of like Good Girls Guide to Murder, One of Us is Lying, those kind of vibes. And yeah, it's basically like a bit of a thriller, and I'm very, very excited for it. And it just sounds really, really fun. Like, I can't wait for it. So next up we have 16 Scandals by Sophie Jordan. So this is another Jane Austen inspired book. So it says, in this irreverent Regency romp by New York Times bestselling author Sophie Jordan, newly minted 16-year-old Primrose Ainsworth finds herself on a wayward birthday adventure through London with a mysterious hero, perfect for fans of My Lady Jane. That's all it says. Very, very excited for this. I'm intrigued by it, and the cover is again stunning, and yeah, that's all I know about it. I don't know anything else, but I have it pre-ordered and I'm hoping I'm gonna love it. Next up we have another proof that I haven't read yet but really need to, and I'm very, very excited to. I have plenty of time to read this, and this is stunning. I've spoken about this in a few videos before, I think, and in a haul, so I have explained what this is about. The main reason I'm really excited for this is because it's got Discovery of Witches vibes to me. Like, that's what this really reminded me of when I read the synopsis, and I loved A Discovery of Witches, and this is a new fantasy book, and I think this is going to be a really, really popular book. Like, I'm anticipating this to be a very, very high rated book for a lot of people, and this will be the first book in a new series as well. And this is by Carrie Thomas, and it is a Threadneedle, which is released on the 27th of May, and this proof is absolutely beautiful. Like, oh, it's so pretty. I'm obsessed, and it's a nice fluffy one, and it is chunky, and I can't wait to read it. Like, I'm so excited, and I can't wait to own the finished copy, because this book, like, I'll show you it here, is beautiful. Like, look at the cover. I've pre-ordered a signed edition. You can get signed editions at waterstones.com, so definitely head to Waterstones. So now we are on to all the books that come out in June that I've pre-ordered. So we have The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. Again, another stunning cover. Like, what is it with the covers this year? This comes out on the 1st of June, and this is a contemporary fantasy standalone novel, which I like because I do quite often like to read standalone novels about heartbreak and power, the terror of our collapsing atmosphere, and the ways we will knowingly change our fate. And this is obviously about witches, and Clara is someone who doesn't want anything to do with her power. It's really volatile and unpredictable. Like, she hates it. It says, fires burn, storms rage, and Clara accepts that she's the only one who can make a difference. In spring she falls for Sang, the witch training her. As her magic grows, so do her feelings, until she's terrified Sang will be the next one she loses. In summer, Clara must choose between her power and her happiness, her duty and the people she loves, before she loses Sang, her magic, and thrusts the world into chaos. So this sounds absolutely incredible. It sounds like there's a forbidden kind of romance in there, magic, witches, everything. I'm so excited for this book. It sounds so unique and interesting. I'm just really, really intrigued by this book as a whole. You all know I love my witchy books, so I need this book. Next up we have another like ancient Greek kind of vibey book, and this is like a dark academia style book. Now, I didn't even have any idea about this book until I watched Ashley from a Frolic Through Fictions video of her most anticipated releases for the year, and she talked about this book, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need that book in my life. Like, this sounds like my cup of tea. So thanks to Ashley, because yeah, I'm very excited for this book. So this book is called The Maidings by Alex Michaelides, or Michaelides. I'm gonna say Michaelides. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, I do apologize. But for one, the cover, very, very cool. Really, really vibey. Like, I'm living for it. It says, this is a spellbinding tale of psychological suspense weaving together Greek mythology, murder and obsession, and it follows a Greek tragedy professor at Cambridge University, and I think a student suspects him of murder or something, and he's obsessed with like these people called the Maidens. I don't really know much else about it, but it just sounds really interesting. It's like a ancient Greek, Cambridge University, dark academia-esque kind of thriller murder mystery book. Like, I don't really know how to describe this, but it just sounds amazing. I'm really intrigued, and I'm just really grateful to Ashley for bringing it to my attention, because I feel like this is going to be a book that I'm going to absolutely love, and yeah, I'm very excited. So next up we have Daughter of Sparta by Claire M. Andrews, and this one comes out on the 8th of June, and I'm so excited for this one. I literally cannot wait. As I was saying before, I love anything that's to do with like ancient Greece and retellings and myths and all that kind of stuff, and this is a reinterpretation of the classic Greek myth of Daphne and Apollo. Daughter of Sparta by debut author Claire Andrews turns traditionally male-dominated mythology we know into a heart-pounding and empowering female-led adventure. This just sounds amazing. I'm so excited for this. I really do think this is going to be another really popular one this year, and I love anything that involves this kind of Greek retellings and this mythology. I just think this is going to be incredible, and I'm just here for it. Like, yes, give me a strong badass warrior any day, any day. I can't wait. Next up we have another rom-com-y book, and this is Meet Cute Diary, and this is by Amari, and I'm so excited for this one. There's a lot of cool rom-com-y books coming out this year. Felix Ever After meets Becky Albertalli in this swoon-worthy heartfelt rom-com about how a transgender teen's first love challenges his ideas about perfect relationships. A review as well on Goodreads says, Amari Lee unpacks how complicated and ever-evolving exploring gender can be against a fun backdrop of your favourite relationship tropes and teenage mishaps. The diverse cast of characters, pronouns and gender expressions creates opportunities for readers to finally see themselves represented in a book. It says Meet Cute Diary is both about and for helping transgender youth feel connected, seen and worthy of not just an epic meet cute but happily ever after. So I'm very, very excited for this. This sounds absolutely amazing, and I'm just, yes, I'm living for this, and I can't wait to read this. And this actually comes out on the 10th of June. The next we have Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho. Now I'm not sure when the exact release date is for this book, but I know Waterstones I think may have pushed it back to the 10th of June. I think the general release date is 11th of May, but I think for the UK, and well, from certain suppliers like Waterstones, it is a bit later. So it's May or June, but I'm keeping it in the June category because that's probably going to be when I get it, because I've ordered it on Waterstones. It says a reluctant medium discovers the ties that bind can unleash a dangerous power in this compelling Malaysian set contemporary fantasy. So someone on Goodreads has actually put a quote from the author apparently that they was said on Twitter, and it says, a stressed zillennial lesbian fights gods, ghosts, gangsters and grandmas in 21st century Penang. Need I say more? This just sounds so cool and really interesting. The cover is incredible. The vibe is there. Like, yes, yes please. Based off that quote from the author on Twitter, I want to read this. I've got it pre-ordered and I can't wait for it. So next is another one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and that is A Blood Like Magic, and this is by Lizelle Sambury, and again another cover that is absolutely beautiful. I'm just living for this cover, and this is a really exciting book. So this all follows a teen witch, and it's a really dark urban fantasy story, and she has to sacrifice her first love to save her family's magic. And this reminds me of Bonecryer's Moon, which I loved and read last year, so I'm very excited for that element of it. Love the witchy vibes, dark urban fantasy, romance, like enemies to lovers. Everything about this sounds amazing. One of my most anticipated releases. I can't wait to read this, and this comes out on the 15th of June. Then next we have The Box in the Woods, which also comes out on the 15th of June, and this is the 4th book in the Truly Devious series. So again, I've not read this series. It's on my TBR for the year. I just pre-ordered it because I know I want to read this whole series, so that's it. I don't know anything about it except for Truly Devious is like a murder mystery thriller-esque YA series, so if you're into your thrillers or kind of murder mystery kind of stuff, it'd be worth picking up this series. So now we're on to all the books I have pre-ordered for July. So next we have Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, and again another beautiful cover. Yes please. And this comes out on the 6th of July, and this follows a young princess and ends up banished by her stepmother because she doesn't want to take part in, like, I think it's an arranged marriage or a forced marriage or something, and turns her brothers into cranes as well as banishing the princess. And if the princess speaks a word of this to anyone and tells anyone about her brothers, then one of them will die. And she's got like this really dark secret that she's got forbidden magic running through her veins that no one really knows about. She always searches for her brothers, and on her journey uncovers a conspiracy to overtake the throne, a conspiracy more twisted and deceitful, more cunning and complex than even her stepmother's betrayal. Only she can set the kingdom to rights, but to do so she must place her trust in the very boys she fought so hard not to marry. She must embrace the magic she's been taught all her life to contain, no matter what it costs her. So I can't wait for this. This sounds amazing. I'm so excited. A bit of magic, a little bit of maybe romance, and a badass protagonist. Like, yes, it's taking all the boxes. I'm really excited. Everyone seems to be really hyped for this book as well, so can't wait for it. Then on the 13th of July we have XOXO, and this is by Axio, and I love this cover. It's so cute. Like, yes, I should have just done a whole video on how much I like all these covers, because that's literally what I'm saying about every single book, but all these covers are just so cool this year. But this is in South Korea, and I think we have the main character meets a guy and they have like a little brief fling, and then 3 months later she kind of bumps into him in Korea, I think, and she finds out that this guy is actually a student in the same musical like university or something that she's going to, and not only is he a student, he's in this really famous band, and he's actually one of the members of this K-pop band, and they're forbidden from dating, and she's got to decide once and for all if she's willing to risk everything for love. This just sounds so good. I'm so excited. The K-pop band thing as well, like, yes please. So I can't wait for this. I love the cover as well. It's just so cute. So next we have an amazing fantasy story coming out, and this is She Who Became the Sun, and this is by Shelley Parker Chan, and I love this cover again. I know I'm saying that for every book, but it's just such a cool cover. I love all the colours and tones in it. But this says Mulan meets the Song of Achilles. Like, that's how this is pitched. My brain can't handle that. Mulan, Song of Achilles. Yes please, the dream team. Like, I'm so excited for this. Like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, pre-order now. But it says, She Who Became the Sun, a bold, queer and lyrical reimagining of the rise of the founding emperor of the Ming dynasty from an amazing new voice in literary fantasy. So this just sounds incredible. I am so excited for this fantasy. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible, and yeah, I can't wait for this. Like, Mulan and the Song of Achilles, like, yes please, yes. And this book comes out on the 20th of July. So now we are on to all of my August pre-orders. So next we have How We Fall Apart by Katie Zahau, and this is a YA thriller, and this is like Crazy Rich Asians meets One of Us Is Lying. So haven't read either of those books, but I do really want to. But I just love the sound of this. This sounds like such a cool thriller, and I like YA thrillers. I want to read more of them, so obviously I want to read this one. And our main character, Nancy's best friend, goes missing and then turns up dead, and then there's rumours going around that two of her best friends are actually to blame for this guy's death, and obviously, like, she's like, what the hell? And there's an enormously incriminating, like, social media app called The Proctor, so Gossip Girl vibes. And it says the four of them must uncover the true killer before the Proctor exposes more than they can bear and the costs them more than they can afford, like Nancy's full scholarship. Soon Nancy suspects their friends may be keeping secrets from her too. This just sounds so cool. It sounds like a really, really good thriller, really good murder mystery, and I'm just really, really excited. And this comes out on the 3rd of August. So next up we have A Lesson in Vengeance, and this is by Victoria Lee, and this comes out on the 3rd of August. And this says it's perfect for fans of Ninth House, which we all know I really need to read. It's a dark and twisty atmospheric thriller about a boarding school that's haunted by its history of witchcraft. That doesn't scream my name. I don't know what does. I'm so excited for this book. Like, just give me it. But yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was sold. Witchcraft, it's set in school, dark academia, thriller, atmospheric. Yes, that's all you need to know to be sold on this book. I'm very, very excited. Love the cover again, and yes, I just want this in my life. Then we have The Women of Troy by Pat Barker. This one comes out on the 26th of August, and I'm very, very excited for this one. I haven't actually read The Silence of the Girls yet. I do plan to soon, and I don't believe that this is a follow-up to her first book either. I think you can just go ahead and read this one or the other one however you like. But this is a retelling from the Trojan War from obviously the women's perspectives, and I'm just really, really intrigued because I'm loving these kind of feministic Greek mythology history-esque kind of stories, if that makes sense. So very, very excited for this one. Then next we have A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins. So Paula Hawkins is the author of some of the most well-known thrillers. So we have Into the Water, I think, and Girl on the Train. I've read both of those and I adored them at the time. I literally like loved both of those thrillers. I couldn't put them down. I just really, really like her writing. I think she might have written maybe another book or two since then. I'm not sure, unless this is the latest one. I don't even know much about this at all, to be honest. Like, I just know it's kind of like someone's murdered, someone's suspected of it, that kind of thing, and that's it. It's a thriller. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. But I pre-ordered it because it's Paula Hawkins. I really love her writing, and I snagged myself a signed copy on Waterstones. This comes out on the 31st of August as well, so I'm very, very excited. And then we are on to September's pre-orders. In September we have Jay Kristoff's very, very highly anticipated and awaited book, which is Empire of the Vampire, and this has vampire in it. I hope I don't have anyone young watching this. Like, I'm gonna beep that out. If you guys seen his video on Twitter a while ago, he mentioned some adult themes to do with vampires, and I was just like, what? But it just sounded so weird and so bizarre and so fun. This is a whole new way of looking at vampires, apparently, really dark and twisted. Now, I know this book has been one that has been pushed back like quite a lot, but I did bag myself a signed copy on Waterstone, so I'm very happy. This is the first illustrated volume of an astonishing new dark fantasy saga, and it's all about vampires, and I love vampires, so I'm very excited. Don't know anything else about it, don't want to know anything else about it. I just want to go in open mind and read it, no expectations. siblings. So I'm very, very excited. So then also in September on the 14th, we have A Dark and Starless Forest, and this is a YA contemporary fantasy girls, and it's pitched for fans of Wilder Girls, and it just sounds really fun, and I was just intrigued by the cover. But this basically follows a girl and all her siblings go missing, and she must confront the dark thing that lives in the forest and the growing darkness in herself to try and figure out where her siblings are and what happened to them. That's all I know about this. It just sounds really intriguing, really dark, thriller-esque kind of vibes, and I'm so excited for it. And on the 30th of September we have Stephanie Garber's new book coming out, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I literally know nothing about this book at all. I just love the sound of the title. I'm intrigued, I like the way it looks, and yeah, I just pre-ordered it because it sounds fun. And Stephanie Garber's well known within the fantasy industry, whatever, community, and I've just pre-ordered this on a whim. I'm hoping that I love it. I pre-ordered a signed copy as well. I'm assuming because it's Once Upon a Broken Heart, it sounds like there's going to be a bit of romance or something there. Romance and fantasy, my two favourite elements in a book, so yeah, I pre-ordered it. Can't tell you guys anything about it. You'll probably have to head over to, I don't know, something to find out about it, but I pre-ordered that one. Then we have one of my most anticipated releases. I'm so excited. So this is book 2 in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and this is Kingdom of the Curse, and it comes out in September, I think. Was it September or was it October? So this comes out on the 26th of October, and this is by Terry Maniscalco. There's no synopsis yet, but I'm so excited. It's book 2 to Kingdom of the Wicked. If you haven't read Kingdom of the Wicked, it follows a witch who has to team up with the Prince of Hell to find out who murdered her sister and all these other witches. Really, really good. Highly recommend. Like, you will not regret reading this book. Very, very excited for book 2. I need it in my life. I need to know what the hell is going on with that ending. So yes, very, very, very excited for this. I wish it was October now so I could read it. Then lastly we have Midnight in Everwood, and this is by M.A. Kuzner, and I'm very, very excited for this. Like, this just sounds amazing. This is a nutcracker for adults basically, and it's like a magical kind of story. That's all I know. I don't want to know anything else. I just heard nutcracker for adults and I was sold, and I'm just very, very excited for it. It comes out on the 28th of October, so yes, I'm very, very excited for it. I'm sure you've all seen it floating about because loads of people got proofs and they were beautiful, and yeah, I don't know anything else about it, and I just want to go into it not knowing much. I just think it sounds stunning, and I'm very, very excited. So that does conclude all of my pre-orders for 2021. Of course, there are so many more books that didn't make this list that I probably will pre-order in the coming months. A lot more graphic novels and manga that I haven't really done any graphic novel or manga pre-orders, to be honest, but I have a lot that I will buy when they come out, and same with a lot of other books. Like, there's so many other books I could have pre-ordered, and I have about 20 on Amazon, so I just couldn't be bothered to look and see what they were called. Do you know what, I'll quickly read some titles to you guys that I know that I'm gonna buy like when they come out. I'm just not gonna pre-order them. Quickly tell you guys them, because then you can go and look at them to see if you guys want to pre-order them. We've got Counting Down With You, we've got Amelia Unabridged, we've got For the Wolf, which I totally forgot. I have got that pre-ordered. For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten, an amazing dark fantasy that's coming out. Go and look into it. I'm sorry I didn't mention it. It comes out June 15th. I'm very, very excited for that one. Don't Tell a Soul by Kirsten Miller comes out 26th of January. The Poison Heart comes out July 6th. We've got Tokyo Ever After. Oh my god, I forgot to mention Tokyo Ever After. I have that pre-ordered. Okay, Tokyo Ever After by Amiko Jean comes out May 25th. It's like royalty, romance, contemporary, really cool. Like, I wish I'd spoken about it, but this video has gone on too long already. I do have that pre-ordered. Go and look into it. I'll link it down below. Amazing. We've also got These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan, which comes out on July 20th. The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldavsky, which comes out April 13th. We've got After the Ink Dries by Cassie Guasfin, which comes out July 20th. Violet Ghosts by Leah Thomas, which comes out June 8th. We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire by McCullough Joy, which is February 23rd. Mark of the Wicked by Georgia Bowers, August 10th. The Girl from the Sea by Molly Knox, June 1st. And then we've also got The Wide Starlight by Nicole Lesparent, which is February 16th. Lost in the Neverwoods by Thomas Aiden, April 23rd. Okay, I'm going to stop speaking, but these are all the other ones that I haven't pre-ordered yet, but probably will. I haven't obviously got into synopsis for them because this is already really long, but all those books I'm probably going to pre-order and all sound absolutely incredible. So if there's enough space in the description box, I will link those as well. If not, you guys can go and look into them to see if you want to pre-order them. But those are all the books I can think of to tell you guys about, so you can get like a head start with your pre-orders and know what's coming out this year. I feel like I've covered everything, but I've probably forgotten a ton of them, and obviously I haven't really looked into pre-orders more for October, November, December. I will do that as the year goes on. But yes, these are all my pre-orders. Lots of good books. I'm so excited. So many amazing books coming out this year. So many more diverse books, which is really, really important. I'm so excited for so many of these books. And I feel like this year is going to be a really good reading year with how many amazing new books are coming out, how many debut authors we've got, and just, yeah, I'm very, very excited for this year. So I hope you guys have found some books to pre-order, ones that sound interesting to you that you might not have heard of before. If you're planning to pre-order any of these books, or you already have, please do let me know in the comments. Let me know what your most anticipated releases are for 2021, because if I haven't heard of any or missed some, I want to obviously pre-order them. So please do let me know what you're pre-ordering this year and what you're anticipating most. Please do give this a big thumbs up if you did enjoy this video, and subscribe to me if you'd like to. I upload bookish videos 2 to 3 times a week. I'm also hosting live shows at the moment where we do a lot of reading sprints, and it's really fun. And yeah, I just love for you to join my channel and chat to me in the comments and stuff. I love you all so much. But yes, I'm sorry as well if my synopses weren't very long for all of these books. I always try to tell you guys as much as I can. It's just I didn't want to go into full synopses for these books because this video is very, very, very long and I had a lot of books to get through. But like I said, I will try to link all of these books in the description box so you can head over to the website and have a look at the in-depth synopsis there and see if it's something you'd like to pre-order. But yes, I hope you did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!